Hi there, welcome to Rumor Spill. It's true that Orlando threw us for a loop when he remarked that the comedy scene is filled with more laughs and guffaws than other sections of the show. The experience is more like reading a suspense novel, complete with its own cast of villains and secrets. Everyone seems to be competing for the funny spotlight that the late great Richard Pryor held, and it appears like there is a bit of a scramble going on. Orlando, may God bless him, has been through a great deal of struggling as a result of difficulties in his personal life. On the other hand, it seems that he has become more advanced in recent times. At the beginning of the year, he made the courageous choice to schedule an evaluation of his mental health. Do you also find it hard to believe? In recent times, things have been going in his favor. He has not been secretive about his decision to abstain from using drugs and his progress toward better times. On the other hand, it is clear that he is still struggling with certain demons from his past. Hollywood is a challenging audience, and there are tales going around that Orlando's intermittent outbursts of laughter during interviews might be more than just a peculiar habit. Some people believe that it is a sign that he is struggling psychologically. After that, there is the discussion of a terrible occurrence that occurred during his early days at Disney and Nickelodeon, which resulted in his being left with wounds that would not heal. Some individuals, on the other hand, are of the opinion that Orlando is only acting and that he is employing a devious strategy to divulge Tinseltown's secrets without getting into jail. Pay attention to the patterns. This guy is actually a genius in disguise, commented one admirer, capturing the spirit of the subject matter in a way that was absolutely flawless. Despite the fact that he is intelligent, there are certain subjects that drive him completely nuts. In order to evade the consequences of his actions, he uses this strategy of telling it like it is while concealing himself behind a mask of lunacy. One more individual chimed in and mentioned that a whistleblower can use playing the fool as a brilliant strategy. It is a shield since nobody accepts a jester at face value that they are using. Having said that, we have now arrived at Katt. The influential people in Hollywood who are fighting for Katt Williams' attention are discussed in a straightforward manner by Katt Williams. At first, he was unable to comprehend the extent to which they would go in order to conceal their dubious activities. Do you remember Katt's open and honest conversation about ending her relationship with the alleged secret society? This conversation took place. Although he was under the impression that he was just going beyond his limits, it turned out that he was actually trying to avoid bullets from the press that were aimed directly at him for declining membership in this exclusive club. He admitted that he had no idea how hazardous it would be to stand up to this unknown gang until he was symbolically stung more times than he could recall. He couldn't even begin to fathom how risky it would be. In spite of this, he would not give up and eventually became one of their numbers, even if it meant he would become a Hollywood villain. The affair involving the Oscar smack was another. Katt gave the impression that the entire ordeal between Will Smith and Chris Rock was nothing more than a theatrical act with the intention of stirring up controversy. Katt claims that every single piece of the puzzle, from the actual slap to the choice of Chris Rock as the target, was prepared with the intention of producing the greatest possible impact. People, the ratings are the most important thing. On Shannon Sharpe's podcast, Katt, however, really turned up the heat by slamming prominent names such as Diddy, Kevin Hart, and even Cedric the Entertainer, claiming that they had all sold out for fame and money. Katt's comments were particularly controversial. Without any further elaboration, he referred to them as puppets of the industry. An incident that took place over the radio between Katt and Wanda Smith brought things to a new level altogether. She allegedly set up her husband and kid with him when he slapped back, and he made no bones about her attempts to pull him down a few notches. He also expressed no reservations about her actions. At a later time, surveillance tape revealed that there was a furious pursuit into a store. Thus, the drama did not end there. Katt is unwavering in his commitment to his values and will not back down in the face of chaos, even from the most powerful people in Hollywood. Can you tell me about the current situation with Orlando Brown? He discovers a kindred spirit in Katt, someone who has also felt the anguish of industrial reprisal for having the bravery to speak up. Katt is someone who has endured the pain with him. Both of these men are attempting to navigate the murky waters of Hollywood while simultaneously attempting to be loyal to who they are and to keep their heads above water in this intricate web of comedy, conspiracy, and bravery together.
This spectacular world of lights, cameras, and action is a competition that requires shrewdness, resolve, and whispering from the participants. The darker side of humor is being revealed by Orlando and Katt in their own special ways. In this dark side of humor, every joke has a deeper significance, and every laugh has a story to tell. It is a story that is both hilarious and engaging, particularly because it has a cast of characters who are anything but predictable. Within the context of the glamorous Hollywood environment, the narrative of Orlando and Katt is replete with a sense of mystery, tenacity, and the quest for authenticity. The stories, which were connected but distinct from one another, shed light on the more negative aspects of the comedy industry and demonstrated the consequences of going against its unspoken conventions. It is a fascinating story about the challenges that frequently lurk behind the public image, and Orlando's journey, which was filled with both triumphs and losses, is an outstanding example of this. Despite the fact that Orlando has tackled his problems head-on and chosen a path that leads to recovery and introspection, the fact that he has had previous experiences with the shadowy side of the profession continues to preoccupy him.
The fact that it is proof of the wounds that the limelight of notoriety may inflict on a person's spirit is evidence of the fact that these wounds are not always visible to the unaided eye. The speculation that Orlando's laughter is a cry for assistance rather than just a strange quirk is revealing a deeper and more complicated story. This indicates that the story is more complex and multifaceted. It brings attention to the intense strain and usually poisonous climate that may exist in the entertainment industry, which is a field in which fragility may be both an asset and a detriment. The fact that Orlando is said to have suffered at Disney and Nickelodeon adds another layer of complications to this scenario. This raises the probability that his early experiences in the spotlight are tied to the problems he is experiencing at the present time. By taking a defiant posture against the influential people in Hollywood, Katt Williams, on the other hand, paints a picture of a man who is reluctant to give up his principles under any circumstances. His assertions that he was the victim of attempts on his life and career because he dared to break away from what he referred to as a renowned and clandestine club in the industry are a typical example of a fight between David and Goliath. There is a depiction of resistance to an establishment in Katt's story. This establishment offers affluence and acceptability in exchange for silence and compliance. It is through the Wanda Smith story that the enormous stakes that are present in this world of smoke and mirrors are brought to light. The candid description that Katt provides of their encounter and the subsequent results demonstrates the lengths that individuals are willing to go to in order to preserve their reputation in the industry, frequently at the expense of other people. There are greater tensions that lie behind the surface of the entertainment industry, and this public argument and threat episode is typical of those tensions. In a field that thrives on dishonesty, the stories of Orlando and Katt both serve as sobering reminders of the price that must be paid for honesty. In addition to making them targets, the fact that they did not adhere to the parameters that were established by the so-called Hollywood gatekeepers has positioned them as anomalies in a narrative that places a higher value on conformity than honesty. Orlando and Katt, on the other hand, get their force from their openness and their willingness to tear away the superficial glamour in order to reveal the harsh reality that lies beneath. Aside from the fact that they are entertainers, they are also whistleblowers who utilize their platforms and voices to call into question the status quo and shed light on the dark clouds that are hanging over Hollywood. As the narrative of bravery, debate, and humor continues to unfold, it becomes increasingly apparent that the line between suffering and laughter is frequently hazy and difficult to distinguish. As far as Orlando and Katt are concerned, their comedic abilities serve as both a sword and a shield, enabling them to navigate the delicate balance between public perception and confronting the monsters that plague the profession. In the end, the stories of Orlando and Katt transcend the boundaries of Hollywood and speak to universal issues such as honesty, resiliency, and the search for the truth in a society that is frequently deceiving. Their experiences serve as a reminder that behind every joke, performance, and public character lies a complex network of accomplishments, personal disappointments, and, at the end of the day, an unyielding drive for authenticity. Their stories serve as a reminder of this. It is becoming increasingly apparent that the ultimate source of humor is not the punchlines, but rather the bravery of speaking the truth to authority, finding humor in the face of pain, and finding hope even in the most hopeless of circumstances. This realization comes as we are getting closer to the conclusion of this chapter in their journey. The story of Orlando and Katt is evidence of the transformative power of humor. Not only does it serve as a tool for amusement, but it also serves as a source of support and a ray of hope for those who are striving for an industry that is more accessible, equal, and authentic. Subscribe Rumor Spill for more videos.